Hello, welcome to my kitchen and welcome to Sodbuster Living. So I have a kind of goal in mind to clean out the fridge, the freezer, make sure food is getting rotated. And so I was like, let's see what kind of meals we can make. I do enjoy some of other YouTubers that make these videos. And let's just see what we've got going. Some of it will end up being freezer meals because I need to kind of build up that right now with our lifestyle, and some of it's just going to be we need to eat, and when you got to eat you got to figure out what to make with the ingredients. So let's spend a day in my kitchen. Let's spend several days in my kitchen, honestly, but for you it'll just be a video of me in my kitchen. So let's get started here. I'm making just a quick batch of protein balls. The reason I want to do this is I have some shredded coconut I want to use up, and this almond butter before it goes rancid. Wanted to use up that last little bit of coconut that we've had, I think, since we moved here. So anyway, I'm just going to make some protein balls. My husband can take them for work. Actually, I don't know. Well, I don't know. The reason I don't know is because this might get too gooey to take to work in this heat. We might need to keep this at home. I don't really care. I'm making them. We can eat them whenever we need to. And that's just what I'm going to do and get into the freezer right now. Alright, going back to kind of using up what we have. I have a package of ground lamb and a package of grounded beef. I have a couple of these open boxes of lasagna that I want to use up, and so for dinner I am going to make this lasagna. In the spirit of honesty, what I am doing is I'm actually meal prepping this ahead because I have dinner already prepared to go for tonight. You will have already seen what we're going to eat, but I want to get this done because there is a night. Alright, I have a 11 by 13 pan of lasagna ready. I will pop it in the oven when the day comes, and it should feed us for dinner and probably dinner the next day. So this will be a 2-night meal, which is fantastic. And then I'm going to just go ahead and get this next thing going using these apples. They are from the food pantry. These are the last of the food pantry, and they definitely need to be used. So we're just going to make a very small, like 8x8 pan of apple crisp, and I think that should use the last of my quick oats here. So yeah, let's just get that going. For what do we have in my freezer or fridge, freezer, whatever, that needs to be used up? What can we do with what we have here? Today is going to be little pizzas. I purchased these several grocery hauls ago. I think you might have actually seen that one. Threw them in the freezer, and so we have them. And I have this pizza sauce that's been sitting in my fridge from another recipe I did, and we need to use it before it goes bad. In my freezer, Allison from Life of a Homemaker and I went to a huge bulk store, and this whole thing was $10, whereas you buy those little packets for $4. So this was a phenomenal deal, and I have yet to like separate it all. So I feel like this is the day to open this up, separate it, make little pizzas, and that's what we're going to have for lunch. I have a daughter that is grating cheese as we speak. We're going to have a mixture of pepper jack cheese and Gouda cheese. So that's going to be lunch for today, using what we have and using up stuff before it goes bad. Alright, for the next recipe, or the next meal, this is probably a better way to do it, of trying to use up what we have here in a way to just use up what we have. I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. Anyway, the next meal on the menu for today is going to be just what I could piece together. And so I had everything that I needed down to the last 5 eggs to make some pumpkin bread. And so I put that in the oven. My recipe makes 2 loaves, and I get a lot of laundry going. So I got some pumpkin bread going in the oven, and like I said, I have just enough to make that, so I did that. And then I was like, well, what can we do with, very unflattering, I'm sorry, what can we do with pumpkin bread so at least I can feel a little bit better about the choices I'm making on serving my children sugar for breakfast. And I have about half a pound of turkey bacon left. Turkey bacon is not a favorite in my family. I particularly like it, but it's not a favorite, so it lasts a while here. Anyway, so I'm going to make that, and they can have turkey bacon and some pumpkin bread for breakfast, and we're gonna use that for the next meal for today. Lunch is gonna be a little interesting. I know there are 2 burgers in the fridge. We still have colds and whatnot, so not all of us are feeling that great to begin with, so I don't really know who is going to eat, but there are 2 burgers, and I'm kind of like putting those aside for my eldest daughter and my husband. They'll have the iron that they really, really need right now, and let's see what happens for the rest of us if we eat, because by the time this pumpkin bread is done, and again, we've got colds, nobody really may want lunch. But dinner's going to be interesting. So that goes into this next part of what I'm going to be making with what I can find in my fridge. I'm going to share with you what's in there already and kind of where I am going with that for today's meals. If the ladies don't see you do it, then you didn't really do it. Can anybody name that movie? Okay, so here is the state of my fridge. These are the 2 burgers I was talking about. This is a drink that my son. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I need to make basically make a recipe that my daughter can use this whole week for lunches, dinners, whatever. I have this pound of ground beef that's not really enough for all of us. I have 3 jars of salsa here that need to be used up. And so I went, and like I said, there's just some random other things that we can talk about here in a little bit. But anyway, I went online and I typed, you know, what can you use with salsa? And there is a taco bake that uses 3 odd cups of salsa and a pound of ground beef. And some pasta. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to make that taco bake for my daughter for lunches this week. Now, if you're like me, you might be asking, girl, why on earth do you have not 3, but 4 jars of salsa opened? And that is a very good question, and I asked my children the exact same thing. Because somebody pulled out a can of salsa, didn't realize there was some in there, and then somebody else did it, and the cycle continued. This is all salsa that I canned, I think, 2 years ago, and I thought it was going to last me a year, but thankfully it has lasted me longer, and I'm really excited about that. And there we go, meals made for the week. There was also enough to make a last minute one for her because she was called into work, and even some of the kids ate it, and it was a 2 thumbs up from us because it was so delicious, and we will make it again. All right, here I am making strawberry banana smoothie popsicles, and I did not realize this, but the kids actually do not like smoothie as a popsicle. They want the smoothie as a smoothie. So this was kind of a flop, but I did not have any juice in the house to make popsicles. So this is kind of how it is, how I try to do it. And it took a while for them to work through that, but it is what it is. And it's like, hey, if you want something, it's in there. You can just take it or leave it. So anyway, it worked out pretty good. And I have one more recipe to share with you using up what we have, and that is going to be for my husband's lunch. Alright, so I asked my husband if he wanted some salmon patties, and he actually said, can you just make me like a salmon salad like you would tuna salad? So that's what we're going to do. I do not have any bread. He's not going to do that. I did pick up some crackers that you saw in a grocery haul, so he did take that with him. Because I was like, you need some kind of filler thing. But I had a little bit of lettuce left, and I had this, and I'm like, hey, let's see what we can do with what we have to try to make this work for the week. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking out some of the smaller or larger bones that is in this salad, or I'm sorry, that is in the salmon. This salmon is from the food pantry, and there's like a spine vertebra bone that I can't do, and I also take the skin off and throw it away. So then I'm going to kind of spread it out, kind of make it a little fine before I add all of the other things to it. Alright, some of the simple things I add to the tuna salad is Dijon mustard, mayonnaise, this dill relish, definitely more dill, some pepper, I think it's salty enough, and if I had any celery, I would have added some of that to it. Alright, so I know I'm going to get comments about this, but if we can, we wash and reuse these Ziploc bags, and these will be just fine to be reused, so no waste there. And again, I know I put crackers with it, but I was like, man, this guy needs a filler, so I cut up some of this Gouda cheese to send with him to work, and he said that it's been a real blessing for him, so I'm really glad I did that. Alright, so I know what I'm going to do for dinner for the next 2 nights, and I'm pretty sure I already have everything, so this will be even more fantastic. This is 2.5 pounds of ground beef, and I'm going to make our favorite so far recipe of chili. It uses coffee in it too, that's how you know it's a good one. But I'm thinking the jalapeno in the chili is going to make kind of all of our sinus pressure. It's really going to help that. So I'm going to make a big batch of chili. We'll have it for dinner tonight, and we'll either have it for dinner tomorrow, or the kids will have it for lunch tomorrow over tater tots. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, I am on to making some chili for dinner using what we have. This has been our favorite so far. Obviously, I have stuff that I've done. Instead of 1 cup of beer, 2 shots of espresso. However, I have some beer I'm going to use for today's, and see if we still like it as much. So, this is the recipe. I'm just going to dice up my onion, use up a jalapeno, so we can get that going, and here we go. Alright, we're going to call this good. 1 pot of chili that will feed us for 2 meals. Alright, I have the very last day of meals for you for trying to use up what we have here at the house. But it's going to be a little bit of a cheat. So let's kind of get into it. First of all, for my lunch tomorrow, I made me a BLT, and I used the last piece of the turkey bacon. I kind of just pulled it out, set it aside for me. There was 1 piece. I know a kid would have eaten it as a snack, but I was like, this will work well for me. So I put that on a sandwich with some bread I bought today. So there's kind of like my little cheat. That's going to be it for my lunch. And then for lunch tomorrow, I needed eggs, and so I will be using the eggs that I purchased today. But everything else is going to be used, I'll be using things that I already have here, and let's kind of talk about it, because I need to get the stuff prepped tonight, because I work past breakfast and lunch tomorrow. Okay, so first we're going to step to this freezer, and in here, I think it's this? No, it's not this. Well, in here somewhere, I'm going to have to look for it. There is, right there. There is a Ziploc bag. These are already cooked pork sausages, and they can eat these with some of this pumpkin bread that I have made, and that will be breakfast tomorrow. For dinner, alright, for dinner, this is what's left of the chili. You can kind of see that it was all the way up here. Let's see, 4 out of the 5 kids ate it, and I ate it. My husband just didn't feel up to it. So there is plenty for dinner tomorrow, and with that, I have a bag of tater tots, and so we can do tater tots and chili for dinner. So, but for lunch, I'm actually gonna make a recipe I really like, and it uses poblano peppers, and it's from, I believe it is in this cookbook. Everybody has this cookbook, right? From way back when. Oh, now I'm wondering if it's in the Betty Crocker. It is a Better Homes and Garden recipe. It's just not in my recipe book. It's in the one my mom had growing up, but not in this one. So there we go. I'm gonna make it. I double it. And that's gonna be lunch for tomorrow. All right, this is the wrap up of today's video. It was really good, this chili relleno casserole, and I really enjoyed kind of having that nostalgic meal again because I made this so often when my husband and I first got married. All of the recipes that I shared with you today will be down in the description box below. Thank you again for watching today's video, and I will see you on the next.